Hi, my name is Stacy Mehrens, and I am here to talk to you about theme for middle school yearbooks. My session is entitled Thorough Theme, so we are going to go through a bunch of yearbooks and kind of see what a theme is and how it will help make your life so much easier this year. Your theme is a unifying and defining device that runs through your entire book. It is the glue that holds it all together. So I think it is so important to have a theme, and it will make it very easy to put the book together. It helps with your consistency, with design, with fonts, with colors, with graphics, everything that you need to make a successful professional looking publication. It also simplifies your decisions. You don't ever have to say, what graphics should we use on this page? What font should we use? What color should we use? Well, we're going to use the ones that go with our theme. So every time you're, going from, page to page and, working on your designs, you already kind of have those things pre-decided. So it makes putting the book together so much easier and keeps it much more consistent. Your theme is usually built around a word, a phrase, a concept, and it starts on the cover, and we push that through in the entire book. So it's a great way to just kind of tie it all together. You want every page in your yearbook to look like it belongs in that book. You don't want it to look like it, if you turn the page, that next page could belong in another school's complete yearbook. So you want everything to look like it goes together. Your theme is presented visually and verbally. So we'll take a quick look at this book. The theme is look inside. So their visual graphic that they use is multicolored eyeballs, like a really fun, bright graphic that they use, and their theme is look inside. So if you look at on one of the sprites, it says take a look, and then it's eye-catching moments, and we make winning look easy. So visually, it's got the color palette, the fonts, and it's consistent. And then they're using the words look and different things about like eye-catching, little spin-offs on look that will tie it all together. So this is just kind of to show you that theme isn't just how the book looks, it's also the verbal words that go with it as well. So you'll find your theme on different pages in the book. Definitely the cover, the end sheets, which are the pages when you first open your book. They connect the pages of the book to the cover, so that page on the inside. The opening, the closing, and the division pages. So it's important to have your theme for sure on those pages. It can also extend to other sections. So headlines, your group photos, index, secondary coverage, sidebars. There'll be other places in your book that you can touch on your theme just to make it very consistent and tie together. So let's see a book all put together with a theme that kids carried throughout the book. This is Ridgeview Middle School. This is the cover. Their theme is life in the middle. When you open the book, this is the end sheet that you see. This theme of this book, Life in the Middle, is based on what your life is like as a middle school student. And the design and the graphics were all based on like a bullet journal style. So if you notice, there's the gray dots in the background of the pages, like a bullet journal, and all the handwriting choices were based on, all the font choices are based on fonts that look like handwriting. So if it kind of all ties together and goes with the style that they selected for their book this year. This is a title page. The title page it's page 1. You always have the title page. It's a single page in your book. And you want to definitely have some of your theme graphics on there. They carried the ribbon on the left side from the cover onto page 1, and they included photos in it. If you notice, they have a really good box on page 1 with all the information that you need: the book name, the volume number, the address, the school website, the phone number, enrollment, information about your school. So it's all here on the title page. It's very thematic, and it has all the required information that you need. The opening of their book, it talks about, it says their theme again, my life in the middle, and then it's the words that students use to describe middle school, and then how their life is, and then a quote about that. So if you kind of look around the graphic on the left, difficult, different, stressful, tiring, fun, interesting. So it's students and their opinions and how they see, describe their life in the middle. This book is set up in a chronological order. So they start the book with summer, and they use the summer graphic on the left, and then they kind of do a summary of each of the months in that section of the book. So if you set your book up chronologically, you kind of base it on, the order of events that go throughout the year. This is a student life page in the book. If you notice, you see the gray dot pattern on the background of all of the pages. So it is consistently carried throughout the book. This book does what's called a modular design. So they have different sections that cover so many different things in the book. This is all the different fall events. And so, it all looks like it belongs in their book. It looks like it belongs on all the pages that we've seen prior to this. All the handwriting fonts, then the different, the little graphics kind of built in, little kind of a doodle look, but it all kind of ties together with the look that they're going for. Here is another page from their fall section. It's just different field trips and things that they have done. If you remember from the cover, there was text that was overlapping. So it had, the font with the font on top of it. So if you see where it says on a mission at the top, it's, the layered text. And it just kind of pulls in that look again. Here's a sports page from the book, layered text again. And if you notice on this page, it's easy to see. On the left-hand side, it shows you each caption, and each caption has a little tag by it. So the first caption has a little blue tag, and then if you look at the photo at the top left corner, it has a blue tag on it. So it's a reader service. It helps the reader to be able to find this caption goes with this photo. So they're all color-coded for you, and they're little tabs like you would see in a journal if you put little tabs on things. So the whole design of your book, it extends through all your sections. It doesn't have to just be on the theme pages, like the dividers and things like that. You can kind of use all your theme graphics and your design ideas throughout the entire book on all the different pages inside. And you want to make sure you include your people section. You want that to make sure it goes with the other pages in the book. It's important because it shows it's all the kids in your book, but you want to make sure your extra coverage on those pages, that they're not just solid A to Z, the whole school. You want to add some extra stuff to keep the kids interested in looking in those pages. So this one, they had 2 different modules. What's your color? And then on the bottom one is Fashionista, where they did some cutouts of students and then had a lot of quotes of, their answers and things. And they used the design ideas from that they'd used throughout the rest of the book. They did include a quarantine page. So this was their life in quarantine. It looks, a little scrapbooky, journally, kind of how you would jot down your ideas. They had a timeline, different thoughts from students, memes, and just, some pictures of kids and what they did when they were social distancing this year. In the back of their book, they have a reference section where it has their index and their group photos. So for the headings of their group photos where they listed out what club or organization it was, they used the little banner tag. And then for the font for the title of the club or group, they use a handwriting font. So these still tie in. So just because they're in the back of the book in a reference section doesn't mean you abandon the ideas and of your design, all of your theme stuff. So where do you start to develop the theme? Where's the first place that you see it? The cover. So the visual look of the book starts with the cover. It includes your theme word or phrase. You need to make sure that's prominent on the cover. And then your visual graphics, your fonts, your lines, shapes, textures, your book name, your year, anything that you are going to have throughout the book, you want to make sure you first introduce that a little bit on the cover. So let's look at this cover one more time. You have your theme phrase, life in the middle. You have the gray dot pattern that we are going to see throughout this book. They have it in the background, that the bullet journal look. You have the layered text that's introduced on the cover, and you'll see that throughout the book. Handwriting fonts, and then the book name and the year. So that's supposed to be on there as well. So your cover of your book, once you have your theme and you design your cover, it should have your logo that it's just right there. It's like, here's our theme, and it's really bold. And if you'll notice on the examples we're going to keep looking at, that's always there. It's present. It's right there on the front of the cover. And it needs to reflect the mood and the tone of the theme. So some themes are, very exciting and fun and really bold. And the colors and the graphics and everything that goes with that theme need to all go together. Some themes are very, more historical, like anniversary books, and things are a little more somber, a little more muted. So, the graphics and the tone of everything kind of match that. So you just need to make sure that all the decisions you're making, that they all go well, they work well together. So the mashup of an impactful theme and a logo presentation is kind of like a 1-2 punch. So, you know, you want to like give them a great theme and a great idea, and then you want to like present it in a really, really fun way that's going to get their attention. This is, you know, just one thing I wanted to bring to your attention. The book that we just looked at, if you remember, it was organized chronologically. And it was, so if you look at their table of contents, it went by seasons. And at the back, they had people and the reference section, which that includes the group photos and the index. So the next book we're going to look at was organized traditionally. So I just wanted you to see the difference of the two. It has the different sections of traditional sections of a yearbook with student lives, sports, you know, people, and it's kind of broken out that way. Since there is so much uncertainty with the next school year, chronological coverage may be something you would want to consider, just so that because it's easier to adjust the coverage and you're not, you know, stuck with what you decided at the beginning of the year. If it's within that season, you know, you have so much more flexibility. So as we're looking at these examples going forward, some of them are chronological and some of them are traditional. So it may be, you know, something for you to look at and consider for this year, even if you may have never done that before. So you need to create a visual and verbal connection with your theme. Visually is what you see. So it's the typography, the fonts, the colors, the lines, the shapes. What graphics are you using to tie in your theme? And then it's verbally. So it's the words that you use and the things that we read. It's the headlines, the secondary coverage, the phrasing, the little spin-offs, the fun little you know, ways you're playing off your theme. So you have to have visual the way it looks and verbal the way it sounds, and they have to tie together. So that's how you know you have a good theme, is when you are able to do both. You're gonna have some theme ideas where, you know, you have the great visual or you have the great verbal, but you need to be able to have both to tie it together, to use them as a great theme that will be able to last, you know, from cover to cover of your book. Okay, so this is the next school we're gonna look at. It's called Grisky Middle School. Whenever I look at a cover, it kind of gives you a hint of what you're going to see inside the book. So when we look at this cover, you know, we can see the theme. Their theme this year was Press Pause. We look at the graphics and we see them, and then we kind of get a hint of like, okay, we're going to see more things that look like that once we get inside the book. What colors do you think we'll see inside the book? Well, probably the colors that are on the cover. We're not going to switch gears when we open up the pages. We're going to use the colors that we see on the cover inside the book. And then the fonts, you want to introduce your fonts that you are going to use in the book right here on the cover. So if you notice, the different fonts that are used are probably the fonts that we're going to see when we look inside the book. So let's take a look. This is their front end sheet. So it has the same graphic, the same color palette, and then it just, you know, breaks out their different sections and their traditional coverage. Here's their title page. So they have their theme again, the book name, the year, volume 11. If you notice, it looks like a pause sign. So that was kind of, you know, one of the reasons where they got their theme from. And then it starts giving you the extra information on the pages. So you can kind of go through it. Like, this is the first page you see. So, you know, as you start looking through the book, we're going to make sure that it all kind of looks and goes together, where you're pulling from all of those theme graphics and decisions that you made at the beginning. This is the opening. So the theme being Press Pause. A lot of the graphics that are used are, you know, the pause, play, rewind, fast forward. So they kind of use that as graphics with the colored stripe throughout the book. So with their opening, it's powered on, and then they do have on the left-hand side opening theme copy. And this is where the opening theme copy is important, because it explains why we chose our theme, why it works well for our school, you know, why is it pertinent? How does it relate? So it's a theme copy. Is if you're not going to have as much writing in your book, which I know sometimes middle schools do or don't, but the theme copy in the opening is really a way to connect with your reader and explain to them, you know, why we chose this theme and why it works really well for our school for this year. So this is one of their divider pages. So each section has a little icon. So sports was press play, and they use the play icon, and then, you know, they kind of just use a group of sports pictures from, you know, throughout that, you know, you'll see different, what you would like to see throughout the sports section. And this is a student life page. They had different coverage of different activities and events. You notice the fonts don't deviate from the ones that they've been using throughout the book. They're the same consistent fonts for their captions and their headlines. and then, you see the stripe again, you see some of the icons that are, in that section, you see the rewind, kind of looking back on the homecoming dance. So, it's tying all together. This is the dance into your page. Same consistency that you've seen from the pages before. We're using them in different ways. Like you're using the bar, kind of behind the cutouts now, and you're using your graphics throughout the pages, but in, a little bit different way to keep the pages interesting. It's not the same on every single page. You just kind of pull from your graphics selections. In the portrait section, again, we're seeing some extra coverage, not just solid mugs. So they had, just like a 7-word story about the year that the students wrote on the right, and then on the left, and then on the right is what your teachers look like in 7th grade. So they had the teachers send in their middle school pictures just to kind of see how they looked when they were in middle school, which is kind of fun. But it all still has the same look and feel. And the closing, if we remember, the opening had power on, so they used power off at the end of the book. And then, you have your closing copy that talks about the end of the school year, and, this year was a very unique year. So it kind of talks about that and how that, their theme tied in and how it related, and it was able to tell the story of the year. So, okay, so let's look at a few more examples. These are just going to be a little bit quicker, but it just kind of gives you more ideas of how a theme can be verbal and visual, and start on the cover and then carry throughout the pages of the yearbook. So this is Canyon Vista Middle School, and this is the cover, and it gives you a hint of what you're going to see inside the book. So you see the black and white cutouts that are kind of outlined with bold colors. 3D text where it says Mustang mixtape. They have a cassette tape. We'll probably see that again. And then there are doodles at the top, the little boom box, and then the paper airplane and things. So these, if you look at a cover, you can kind of almost like a little game, like let's guess what we're going to see inside the book when we see the cover. It's a great way to tie it in with students, hold up a book or show them a cover and then try to figure out what they see so that they know when they look at their book, when it's complete, other people can do that. We need to take these, your themes not just on the cover. It needs to, the things that you see on the cover, we also need to push inside the book. So let's take a look inside Canyon Vista. On the left is the end sheet. So it shows bold color blocks, the same black and white cutouts with outlines. I see some doodles. I see consistent font. So it ties together. The volleyball page on the right, the headline treatment is exactly how you saw it on the cover. There's a fun module to the left of the headline that's My Mixtape. They have these throughout the book, and it shows a girl, and then it's like her doodles and all the things that she's interested in, and then there's quotes, a quote from her about how she mixes it up and what things that she's involved in at school. So they kind of feature different students on different pages, and it goes through there. But the color palette, is very consistent throughout the book, and they use it in different fun ways. If you look at the bottom, they did black and white cutouts of volleyball players, but then they had the gradient color bar using their colors that they're using throughout the book along the pages. On the left-hand side, we see the title page. So this is, page 1 in the book. It gives you all the title page information, but it still very much matches the cover and the pages in the book. The right page is one of the last pages in the book. This is the yearbook staff. So each one, had a cutout that shows, shows them, a lot of doodles involved. Fun. It definitely ties in with the yearbook and how, how it looked and the design on the rest of the pages. This is a spread for academics and just talking about back in the fall when, they're at school, the, students going from class to class and all the different pages and how far they have to travel to their classes. If you do notice at the bottom above every caption, they have the little cassette tape icon. So that ties back to the first one we saw on the cover, and they're using it throughout the book. So it is very consistent and, with the design of the pages. This next book is Hudson Bend Middle School, and this was their 20th anniversary. So in 2020, they were 20 years old because they opened in the year 2000. So their theme that they chose, they wanted to really, just do a school theme. So their theme is It's Who We Are. And then kind of where they went with the book is, and it's where we go from here. So it was, this is where we've come, and then it's also where we're going. So this is one of their spreads at the beginning of the book, and their headline of this one is It's How We've Changed. So they're using their same fonts from the cover, their introducing some other colors since their cover didn't have a ton of color. It was very, their school colors are silver and black, so they just kind of stuck with school colors. And then, you know, the text on the story on this page is talking about like hindsight is 2020 and looking back on the first 20 years and, you know, how it all ties in. From this book, from the Hudson Bin book, this is the theater spread. So their heading on this one is, it's how we act. And so, you know, same fonts, same design, you know, the same colors. It all definitely looks and looks like it does on all the other pages in the book. And it, you know, it ties together with all their different modules on the pages. So our next example is Styles Middle School. This one, for their theme, they chose road trip. They wanted to do something that was fun, and then their big thing at their school is that everybody has stickers on everything. So they wanted to have kind of an old-timey suitcase with stickers that they use. And they took it one step further. At the top of the screen, the oval that you see is actually a sticker that the school had printed. So anytime somebody would buy a yearbook, the yearbook staff would track them down in one of their classes and take them a sticker and give them a sticker that was, you know, so the students didn't know it at the time, but the sticker is actually one of the stickers that was on the cover of the yearbook. So these stickers just started popping up all over campus, and kids would ask, like, where'd you get that? Oh, I bought a yearbook, and the yearbook staff gave it to me, because middle school kids love stickers. So it was just kind of a fun way to mark it that actually went with their theme, but until, you know, the kids got the book, they don't really realize the tie-in. The page to the right is, you know, it features a sticker again, and then it was a dedication to the book. Then the namesake for the school passed away this year, so they dedicated the book to her, and then it also included the table of contents. This is their opening. I mean, it explains, you know, the kind of their journey and that road trip that, you know, middle school can kind of be, kind of tying it in with that, and then it used, you know, the background from the cover to really tie in the graphics. Here's their cheer page. They have, you know, a lot of pictures, a lot of coverage for this group. And then on the left-hand side, if you notice, kind of in the middle of the green bar, they have stickers. So they try to use stickers throughout the book, just as a graphic to just, you know, touch in. And then if the Polaroids on the left-hand side, they use the Polaroid as another way to get more photos into the book. And if you think about, you know, you go on a road trip, you have your camera, and you just get quick little snapshots of, you know, things you see and what you do during the year. Okay, so here's another example. This is Peterson Middle School, and their theme is Through the Eyes of a Pirate. So when you open up the book, you see the same, I'm guessing these are school colors, this, you know, consistent look. You see the pirate, you see the eye of the pirate now. Before, on the cover you didn't see that. And then you see this diagonal line that we're gonna see again, as well as these little kind of doodle graphics that are really popular right now. This is one of their dividers, their sports divider. Same color palette, same font, same strong diagonal lines in their photos of their book. When you get into some of their coverage pages, they kept with their same design elements, but they, you know, packed so much coverage onto these pages. This was their, you know, Spirit Day spread. Across the top is all their different Red Ribbon Week days, and then along the right-hand side was their Spirit Week, and then it's just a lot of really fun pictures, but it still goes with the theme and the design that you saw from the beginning of the book. This next example is Katy Junior High, and the theme of their book is Vivid, which, you know, you think vivid, you think very colorful. The color palette that they chose for their book is CMYK. So for those of you who aren't familiar with this, CMYK is the 4 different colors that we use to print our yearbooks. Everything is printed in CMYK. It stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And so these are the 4 colors. So these 4 colors that appear on the cover and at the beginning of their book are the same 4 colors that are used to make up all the color photos inside the book. So if you look at the graphics, the angles, the triangles, the dots, you know, we'll take a look inside. So when you look at some of their pages inside, this is their band page. They have, you know, the different graphics, the cutouts that are the different colors, like they're just the duotones of the students, and then the sidebars. Everything pulls in those 4 colors that they introduced on the cover. Here's their math page. It used the cyan blue color throughout the page as the spot color, different shades of it, different throughout the book, you know, stripes, then the pie chart, all the different stuff. So This was a fun page. It talks about common last names. So they pulled out some common last names and then found all the kids in the school that have that last name. So they just did little modules for each student and all the last names that are, very common in their school. But it's still, even though it's a different kind of design, it still definitely goes with their theme and what they've decided for this year. This next book is, their theme was 2020 Vision. And so on the front, it just has one pair of sunglasses, a really clean white cover. And then if you look at the end sheet, it has all different kinds of sunglasses. So they kind of use that, glasses and sunglasses, to tie it in with their design of their pages. Again, very clean white backgrounds. If you look at the fonts, they are very consistent. The same fonts that they use on the cover, they continued inside, and then they just use a simple, like transparent glasses icon with the headlines just to tie it together. So you don't have to go crazy with your design. Keep it clean, keep it simple, keep it consistent, and that's all you really need to do. With this one, this is their quarantine page. The headline, "We're Quarantines," super cute, and then also pulling in the glasses. The same kind of layout, just kind of mixing it up a little bit, same font, same design, going from there. This one is Not What You Expected. So it's Santa Fe Trail Middle School. And if you look at the title page, it has, all the information on there, and it, kind of brings out their color palette. It's the CMYK color palette again. It's pretty popular. So it, here's their opening. So it's got just some really bold words, a full bleed photo with one person in color. So, they can really stand out. This is a super fun trends page, especially with middle school, where all the fun things that they wore and what they're doing, and what they're carrying around, water bottles with stickers all over them, that kind of thing. So it's kind of what was popular this year. So trends pages are really fun to make, and they're really fun for the reader to look at now and 10 years from now, when they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we wore that. So here's one of their portrait pages. They have really fun sidebars on the pages. They talk about the different, one on the left, it's like crazy food combinations, and on the right, it's funny things that you found in your locker. So it keeps these pages fun and interesting, and not just solid portraits. So it gives the reader something else to look at when they're flipping through these. This one going back to the 2020. So with Seeing Clearly, if you look at the cover, they have the diagonal line. So we'll probably see that again in the book. And then the glasses again, that kind of tied in with, similar to the other one. And this one on the opening, when you look at the left-hand page, they have that diagonal line. If you look at the photos, they did where, the background in black and white, and then the cutouts are in color. And then for their interviews that they did on the right-hand page, they chose, instead of giving the full photo of the person, they did this throughout the book, where they just did part of their face, which is, just an interesting way to do it. Their pages inside the book, they started, doing coverage, and they have a lot of content on the pages with the modular design, and, there's, a couple different diagonals and things that you can kind of see that go with the pages. So when you're developing your theme, you start with an idea. In order to get that idea, you want to look at what is new and different and noteworthy this year. So if there's something that's only happening this year, or, special, like an anniversary, or, you completely redid your school, or, there's just something that is totally different about this year, that your theme, if you can, needs to kind of come from that, because it's going to tell the story of this year. So next year's, could be interesting. So there's going to be, I'm sure, some fun themes to go along with that. So, so when you're coming up with your idea, you need to think about this year, and talk to students, talk to your yearbook staff, talk to other students too, not just the yearbook staff, kind of get the pulse of the school and what's really happening, talk to teachers, talk to everybody, what's different about this year. Find out about trends. What are students talking about? What's popular, what's going on, your theme can come from that. So what you have to come up with first is an idea. So you are going to come up with so many ideas, but what you have to decide is if your idea can be made into a theme. So if you can't develop your idea into a theme, then you just need to come up, try another idea. So you're going to have a bunch of ideas that, oh, this is great. Well, sometimes it's just a great cover idea, but you can't do the verbal or the visual, and you can't have, you can't turn it into a theme. So you really have to look at what idea it is, and if you can use it as a cover design, and have the spinoffs inside the book, and if you can have the graphics and the color palette and the fonts that naturally go with it. So you want to kind of take your idea and see if you can develop it into a theme. So there's going to be a lot of ideas that are great ideas, but we're going to discard them because they're just an idea. We can't make it into a theme. So you're going to just work with your kids. You'll know when you get the right one, because your kids are going to just, for the 20 minutes straight, you're just going to be, coming up with ideas, and your brainstorming is going to be just a ton of stuff that they can do with it. And then you'll know that that's a theme that is going to be able to work as a theme. Your theme package, when you finally get that idea that can transition into a theme, you're going to have that really strong theme phrase and the strong graphics that go with it. That the mood and the tone and everything, you're going to just mesh together and work really well together. You're going to have a color palette that works well. If it's a really bold theme, you're going to need to have bold graphics and colors and everything that go with it. If it's a very more reserved, maybe pastels, maybe more muted colors. You're going to have your fonts that are going to go with your theme and that you're going to keep consistent throughout your book. And then you're going to have those verbal connections. Those are super important. So your theme is not just your cover, and it's not just the graphics. It's also the verbal connections that you can use for your section titles and for just some of your headlines and different parts throughout the book where you tie back to that theme phrase. Okay, so thank you so much for listening today. I hope you picked up some things about theme, whether you're a brand new advisor or a returning advisor. So if anyone has any questions, it's time for us to chat.